the Trinamool, as one analyst put it, needs to win a majority of the minority and a minority of the majority vote, which essentially means, Rajat Sethi, that the task is that much tougher for the Bharatiya Janata Party, because the Congress and the Trinamool start with 30, you start with 0 for the BJP, and now can the BJP polarize the Hindu community more than they were polarized in the assembly election in favor of the BJP? I think that is ultimately what will determine what happens in Bengal, and the extent to which the left, the Congress and the Furfura Sharif, the Indian Secular Front, can cut into the Muslim vote of the Congress Trinamool. Those are the two factors you think which will be key in determining what happens the 2nd of May?
That's a fantastic question, Rahul. Both Assam and West Bengal have a very similar demography. In Bengal, you have the so-called second majority. The Muslim section constitutes around 30%, whereas in Assam, it constitutes around 40% of electorate. So you can very well say that Congress in Assam is going to start off with 40% and TMC is going to start off at 30% vote share. I don't see that it is as simple as it sounds. How are these votes of the minorities spread out in the individual constituencies also matters. For instance, in Assam, most of these minority votes are limited in a few set of constituencies. So in certain constituencies, their vote share is as high as 95%. Therefore, just going by the overall number will not give you the exact picture. Ultimately, you have to win the number of seats in order to be able to form the government. And this is where I believe that yes, TMC has a say on the majority number of votes in the minority population, but BJP would really hope that some of it gets divided between the Third Front and TMC. There is another charge that BJP might not be able to polarize or not polarize. I think this election, BJP has stuck to the developmental narrative. It is the TMC which by far is just playing on this women card over and over again. They basically want to make it a fight between, say, the Prime Minister and the alpha male on one side, and bring a woman who is on the wheelchair on the other side. And that's the basic rhetoric that they are harping upon, because they have very less to show when it comes to developmental and those aspects. And this is where BJP wants to bring back the debates, bring back the conversation on, and this is why Prime Minister said that it is not Khela Hobe, it is Vikas Hobe. They really want that debate happen on these questions.
Okay, Supriya, the Congress doesn't seem to be, for its part, taking the West Bengal election very seriously. Your top leaders have been campaigning in Kerala, they've been campaigning in Assam. It's almost as if you've already concluded that you're going to do very badly, and therefore leaders don't really want to do the rounds in West Bengal, because if the party does badly, it will then reflect on their scorecard. What's at stake for the Congress in Bengal?
So by the same logic, I can turn. Around and ask that Mr. Modi hasn't been campaigning in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Has he given up the fight? I mean, the seats allocated in our coalition are towards the last 3 phases, and you will see people go there. What is the point of going when the first 6 phases are going to go into elections? Bengal, remember, is a 9-phase election, no less. However, I would want to make a comment on something that the TMC said, and of course said by the BJP spokesperson here. We are ready to celebrate the 75th year of our independence. And at a time like this, in Indian electoral politics, we are still talking about physical violence, we are still talking about bloodshed. I think it should be a shame on this kind of discourse. I don't know what sort of development politics is being referred to, because the same people who are assuring everybody, every householder a government job in Bengal have a very, very blotchy track record as far as job creation in the rest of the country and at a national level in 7 years of governance is concerned. I also want to raise a very important point as far as Bengal is concerned. I'm presuming we will talk Assam next. About a few days back, I had done a press conference and I had raised some very serious questions against the top leadership of the BJP in Bengal. Mr. Dilip Ghosh, the president, and of course Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya, the general secretary in charge. Now there are audio clips in public domain that talk about money for tickets, that talk about sexual favors for tickets. I wonder if these are issues that the BJP is going to conspicuously keep silent on, or will they talk on these issues? And I wish Bengal politics was about development. I wish it was about jobs. I wish it was about education. I wish it was about health. You know what is it about? Who is a bigger Lord? Is Lord Ram a bigger, God, or is Devi Durga a bigger goddess? That's what the TMC and, and BJP have reduced this discourse to. quite frankly, you'll be surprised with the results. I also believe polarization of this kind has not happened in any election, and the BJP's blatant attempts to polarize, I think, are very out in the open, and I don't need to comment on that so much.